To avoid eating out and spending money, the easiest thing for me to do has been just to meal plan. So every week you go grocery shopping and make sure that you have everything you need and you know exactly what you need for the meals that you're going to be making that week. And that will make you avoid having to go grab food because it's last minute. You can't think of anything or you don't have the groceries to do it. So when I go grocery shopping, I bring my list, make sure I have all the ingredients for the meals that week, and then make sure I also have lots of snacks and little side meals in case the kids don't like what I'm making. So first thing this week we made was vegetarian chili. This is very easy and you can change it around with different veggies. Basically, I just add olive oil to a pot, some diced onions and garlic. Then I saute that, add in some bell peppers. I also add in some orange bell peppers and just mix that around. Then I add in my chopped zucchini and drain some beans in a strainer. I use some pinto beans, black beans, and kidney beans. Then to your veggies, you're going to add a can of petite diced tomatoes. For our seasonings, I use onion powder, garlic powder, some cumin, smoked paprika, Creole seasoning. Definitely going to need some chili powder, and then I also use a cube of vegetable bouillon. Then you're just going to mix that around until it's nicely blended together, and then you're just going to pour in all your drained beans. Once you got your beans in there, you're just going to pour in some vegetable broth. The amount is basically as much as you want. I just make sure to cover the beans, and then I add in a couple squeezes of lime juice and a handful of cilantro. Make sure you mix that in well, and then put it on low heat and just cover it. Let it simmer until all the veggies are nice and soft. For the side, I make cornbread. My favorite so far has been the Trader Joe's cornbread. So I just follow the box. You just add some oil, some eggs, and water. Mix that together and then cook as stated on the box. For mine, I like to add a little bit of honey to get a little sweetness. And I just cook that according to the box. To my chili, I add a little bit of cheese and some green onions. Mix it in there and serve it with nice warm cornbread with some butter. I usually try to make sure that I have enough for leftovers, and then for the next day we'll have some warm chili and cornbread for lunch. And then for a snack, we do lots of smoothies, especially if it's like almost dinner time and the kids are starving and they can't wait. The best thing for me to make is smoothies so they don't get too full and they get their fruit in. You can make these in so many different ways. If you've seen my channel, I've made so many kinds of smoothies. For this one, I just did some bananas, frozen strawberries. Those orange cubes are fresh orange juice that I squeeze and freeze ahead of time. And then I always use coconut water as my liquid. I add in some raw honey. And if I have it, I add in sea moss gel, or if I freeze sea moss gel cubes, I add those as well. But I did run out recently. I get that at a farmer's market, so I can't just get it whenever I want. And then I blended that up and I decided that it needed a little more fruit, so I added some mango to this one as well. And like I said, there's so many variations of smoothies you can make, but it's a great way to get your fruit in for the day, and it's a great snack so you don't get too full before dinner or even for breakfast. I put it in a bowl and I add some granola, some almond butter, and some more fruit on top, and it's very delicious, very filling. So when I do go grocery shopping, I make sure I always have my smoothie supplies, some frozen fruit, some coconut water, and then I also get the honey from the farmer's market. One of the treats for myself when I used to go out to get a lot of takeout was boba smoothies. So to avoid spending money on drinks going out, I just buy the little packets of boba at Trader Joe's. You get 4 packets in one box, and I think it's under $3 or $4. It's pretty cheap. So I just microwave the packet of boba and I add it to a jar, and then I pour my smoothie over it, and it tastes even better than the ones I used to buy at the boba shops, but it definitely fixes that craving for a delicious drink that I used to get by paying. Now it's probably about $8 to $10 for a boba smoothie. So making it at home has saved me a lot of money, and I could say I drink this probably daily, but it is worth it and it saves me money. Another snack idea that the kids make as well are homemade pretzels, and I'm going to show you how we make these homemade soft pretzels right now. So to the bowl we added 2 and 1/4 teaspoon yeast. We're gonna whisk in 1.5 cups of warm water. Gonna add in a tablespoon brown sugar. There you go. 1 teaspoon salt.
Oh.
And 1 tablespoon melted unsalted butter.
Wait.
And 1 cup of flour at a time. Okay, another cup of flour.
Another one?
Last one.
This is too much.
Now we're gonna knead the dough until it becomes nice and smooth.
I think it's done.
I'm gonna cut these into about 1/3 cup sections. Do a baking soda bath. You're gonna dip it in boiling water with a 1/2 cup baking soda for about 30 seconds. This one, we're gonna add some sea salt after the bath. We got 1 salted. I'm gonna paint some butter on top when they come out. Dip these in cinnamon sugar.
This is Pirates of the Caribbean. This is lunch.
Those pretzels came out amazing. And then for our next dinner, I made some soy chorizo and black bean tacos, and we grilled some corn for elote. All you have to do is fry some diced onion with some olive oil in a pan or pot, and then add in your soy chorizo. You're going to add a little bit of salt and water to that, and then just mix it together until it cooks down. I made a homemade salsa. I boiled some tomatillos and a jalapeno, and then I just blended those up with some other ingredients I'll show you. For the tortillas, I found the quickest way to warm them is just to stick them in the oven at 350 until they're nice and warm. And then to the soy chorizo, you're going to add in some rinsed black beans, drained and rinsed black beans, and just mix that together and let it simmer for a little bit until everything's nice and cooked. For the salsa, you're going to add in your boiled tomatillos and your boiled jalapeno, of course cut off the stem, to a food processor, add some garlic, some salt, and then I added a handful of cilantro, and then of course some lime juice. And then I blended that up, and I decided that I wanted to add a tomato. So after blending that, I also added 1 tomato that I chopped into 4 sections, and it came out perfect. And then for the spicy salsa, I just didn't wash my food processor for just some extra flavor. I blended some chili de arbol, and then I used a little bit of the water that I boiled the jalapeno in. I added in some garlic, some lime juice, and some salt to that, and that also came out perfect for a spicy red salsa. So we had green salsa and red salsa with our tacos. Once your tortillas are warmed, you can start preparing your tacos. I just add a scoop of the chorizo mix, and then I topped it with Monterey Jack cheese. I left a couple cheeseless for my kids who don't like cheese. And then I added some more olive oil to a saute pan, and then I fried them up until they got nice and crispy. For the corn, we just used some corn on the cob and grilled it over a barbecue. And then you can eat it like that. You can add butter and salt if you want. For us, we like to add the elote toppings. We added mayonnaise, lemon juice, some Parmesan cheese. You could also use cotija cheese, some tapatio, and some tahini. Did I say lemon juice? And lemon juice. And those are elote corn on the cob, and it is so good. My kids love it as well without the hot sauce, and it went perfect with the tacos. We also grilled up a couple veggies on the grill, an onion and some green onions, some jalapenos to eat with our tacos. All of it was delicious. For the last meal this week, it was super easy. I just grabbed a bag of frozen penne pasta from Trader Joe's. You just add it to a lightly oiled pan. You add some water over the top, and you can also salt it down a little bit. For this pasta, I did add a little bit of sea salt and some half and half just to get the sauce nice and creamy. And then I added some fresh Parmesan cheese to that as well. This was just for me and the kids this night since my husband was at work. So it was actually just enough for us. But if you have a big family, I definitely do 2 bags. And then with this, we just had it with some bread and butter. You can add anything, you could have garlic toast or add some roasted broccoli or whatever you want. But it was just a light dinner this night. And we also had a smoothie to go with it. So it was perfect and it was nice and simple. So I hope these meal ideas give you guys some ideas for your own meal planning, especially if you're vegetarian. It helps to get some ideas. So let me know in the comments if you guys try it or what you guys think. And then I just wanted to add in one more smoothie. This is the one that I made to go with the pasta. All I did was blend up some frozen mango. I had my sea moss cubes over here that are blue, and then some honey and a little bit of coconut water, and then you just blend it up. Again, I had mine over boba, and it just tasted like a mango icy. It was delicious, and the kids are getting some fruit in with their meal, so it works both ways. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless.